Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk about Luna and Rainway. Then afterwards, I would like to ask some questions of you all. I could use some outside input if you all don't mind sparing the time. Okay, I'll start with Luna and Rainway because I want to make sure that people that come to this recording for that can get to it as quickly as possible. I'll leave all my questions at the end. Okay, so Luna was recently announced and it will be Amazon's cloud gaming service. I am a bit weary of this based on what I saw with Google Stadia. Google Stadia had latency issues for a number of years. I'm not even sure if they're still fixed. I haven't checked in quite a while. Um, but yeah, latency was pretty bad, and there were some other things too, but I think the latency was the biggest problem. I would hope that Luna can get around that, but let's just say that they do get around it. This whole packaging thing is the first of my concerns, or at least why I'm wary. Looking at this, it looks like a TV cable package. You get the base package, and then you add to it with other channels or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like what we saw with HBO and some of the other ones on cable TV and even internet TV. Um, so I mean that stuff can get pretty pricey pretty fast. I would hope that the price is not very high because of how much stuff you have to package. Um, I mean, we'll see, obviously, but for right now, this is early access pricing, so it's very hard to tell how far it will go. Um, Sort of related to the price, this is at least one reason as to why I'm a little cautious. Let's just say that this spikes to $20 a month. That's about triple of this right now. Well, a little over triple, but let's just say for argument's sake that this goes up to $20 a month, and you times that by 12, you get 240 roundabout. I mean, obviously there will probably be sales tax and things of that nature, but $240 a year. So let's just see how many years it will take before the cost you're paying for this turn into a computer. In my prior recordings, I was able to do a good 1080p build for about $800. I barely squeaked it in. So let's take 800 and divide that by 240, and we get 3.333 repeating. So it will take just a little bit under 3.5 years before this essentially becomes a computer. There's a reason I have a concern about rising costs. It's because if you were to build your own PC, you would have complete control over where information's being sent, you know, the games you own, and so many other things. Um, so, like, here's a good example right here is Rainway. Rainway is basically a software that turns your gaming PC into a game server. You are able to access Steam and Epic Games from your browser or LAN. So if you do get to the point of building a 1080p computer, then you can do something like Rainway if you really wanted to, and from there you can quasi do cloud gaming. You would have to do a couple of things to make that happen, and it would require more technical knowledge than the average. So yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that Luna would be the easy way out, and Rainway would be more of like the technical-minded person. But as you can see, this is just a way to control things. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Luna. Real quickly, I just want to cover Rainway because this is really interesting. While Rainway is restricted just to Epic Games and Steam games, it's I think it's fine because it does some very cool things for you, and I'll give you one good example. Um, I saw Linus Tech Tips do this a while back with his server, not a Rainway type of thing, but just an actual server for like maintaining the network and things. He has his server in like its own walled off area. It got me to thinking, if Linus is doing that with his server, then certainly we can do it with Rainway. Sure enough, I did check, and that's possible. So in that scenario, what you would do is you would use the Rainway LAN, put your gaming PC in a separate room where it has good air conditioning and stuff, and then you would connect to it from another PC that's very low powered. That would be a really cool way of handling Rainway. But yeah, as far as like the using it on the browser type of thing, like if you're not home or something, that's going to be very complicated. I'm still trying to figure that out, like the best approach to that. But I think that you can, at the very least, do some very cool things on the land side of Rainway. Um, that's all I can say about Rainway, I guess. You can see where I'm going with this, though. It's a matter of personal preference, I guess. You have Luna for the easy stuff, and then you have Rainway for the hard stuff. So, okay, but with that all discussed, I do want to ask some questions of the viewers. Um, my life is about to change as I may be starting my own business. I have to go out to the country to do this, unfortunately, which means that my internet capabilities will be very limited. Um, this business is more than likely going to be a fabrication business in which I will be making materials for either scientific tests or, at the very least, 3D printing. Uh, at least that's been my goal, but I don't know how well it will work out. We have to see when, like, I go out there and try to get things started. So, in between, let's just say that I do get that far. In between material processing and things, I will have spare time. With that spare time, I was thinking I could start an advisory type of thing on the side to help people with their PC builds and things of that nature. When I thought of this idea, I was like, well, but brand names kind of do this already for people. Like, would people even want me as an advisor? Because I'm not building the PC for it. I'm just telling them what I think can be done. So I'm not sure if that's a service that people would want. If it is, though, then I would gladly consider it as something I could do in between. Um, so yeah, I guess my question is, like, do you all think that that's something I should do? My next question would be in relation to the payment stuff. There's a reason I left certain areas of the PC building industry. I would say a big reason is the way people treated me. I was always treated like crap, and people expected me to do everything. Um, if I didn't do things the way they wanted, then they complained, not just for um, those the reasons that they disagree with me, but also because they put money into it. I learned very quickly that money is a very, very big problem when it comes to customer service. The second you handle money is the second people think that they have every right to walk over you. I see it happen with streamers all the time as well. Um, so in that regard, I would only be okay with it if the money went to a charity of a choice. So let's just say that I get as far as setting up an advisory service. Would people be okay with me requesting that my service fees go to charity? I think the last question I can really ask is, let's just say that there's something that someone disagrees with along the way. Um, then I guess I could do it as a free service, but if I do it as a free service, I'm not really gonna put too much effort into it. I'm gonna be real with you. It's because, I mean, while I do like to help people, the problem is that this is something I'm trying to squeeze in between, a startup business. The startup business is going to be my priority one if that happens. Um, so that's going to be my main money source, and that's what's going to allow me to do this um, a bit better. So I guess if I have to do it as a free service, assuming that the other stuff doesn't work out, then I would probably do it as like a Google chart thing. I would just link the Google chart somewhere for somebody to look at, and I would just update that. Knowing that, would people be okay with that? Um, that's all the questions I have. Thanks if you listen and give some input.